All right. Well, sorry about that. I literally had all of the power in my house go off for like 10 seconds for like apparently no reason. So, and then I had to restart my router and everything. And usually that's weird because usually the feed doesn't stop if I get shut down. But lucky us, I suppose. I don't know. Whatever. And
It's
then
always something with you, your
it is
channel.
always something with
Mhm.
me and me. Yeah. All right. We'll wait for Sean to get back in here so we can talk about Dirty Cops with him. But
Hey, hey.
hey, there he is.
There it is.
See, your game's so good. It shut down the process. It destroyed what we were
The,
doing. So.
the conspiracy theory in the chat is that Lunar Sound Design called and demanded his money back.
All right, the feed's good.
So anyway, Dirty Cops, a game that I reviewed about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, I suppose. It's in Kickstarter right now. It is about, it's about Dirty Cops. So, Sean, break down the game for us. Tell us what you do. I love the art too. I mean, but anyway, I'm getting just go talk. And I'll ask questions.
So I'll just kind of repeat some stuff. So in the game, you're playing as a group of cops working together to take out a bunch of criminals, but you're also going to be stabbing each other in the back because the player at the end with the most money wins. It's all about dealing as much damage as you can and grabbing cash and selling drugs and just generally being a scoundrel, which is the subtitle of the game, Dirty Cops, a game for scoundrels.
Exactly. And no, I mean, so like the whole thing is that like when you successfully take down a group of bad guys, there'll be loot that you get as far as like drugs and bullets and money and what have you. And so it's it's a combination of like letting other people get shot instead of you and making sure that you kind of like when you split up the stuff like stealing the extra drugs off the top and stuff like that because everything it's kind of neat that like because everything's worth money but like it also has a different use like bullets can be used like to help you defeat the bad guys and things like that so it's like you have to kind of decide what you want to use it for and stuff like that and it's a very fun thematic experience and you have to enjoy games where you to win you have to kind of in the words of another reviewer that once said I loved you say you have to step over the dead bodies of your friends to claw your way to victory so you have to keep that in mind but I enjoy that though I mean just because like I said I have lots of my friends have lots of years we have lots of years together so we don't take things personally for long anyway.
Yeah, one of the things that I found very interesting, and I didn't set out for this, but it just kind of naturally came through, is that if you actually let people get taken out completely, there's no player elimination. If you die in the game, you actually get to come back towards the end. If you get taken out, you actually become kind of a major threat. So from a pure strategy level, it's really good to get someone down really low in life, but keep them alive. And that's something I never call out. Like I kind of wait and see if people experience that. We were playing last weekend at NorwestCon, and I saw someone basically go after someone, and the whole team ended up dying in the final crime scene because one of the guys just got too aggressive, and then someone got taken out, and then he couldn't deal with all the criminals that were there, and the whole team just got destroyed. It was really comical.
No, it's it's a lot of fun. I guess I can't really. I invite people to go check out my review and they can read more into that. But I mean, it is a highly enjoyable game and urge people to check it out. And is this your first design? Have you kicked around a lot of designs? Have you this is the first design you've kind of moved forward with, or how would you?
It's the first design that we've had from a physical property standpoint. I've got a lot of years in the video game industry, for about 15 years or so, working as a producer and
playing
doing some design
video
work.
games for 15 years is really nothing to brag about. So.
Yes, actually, you get to play, and that factors into your job as well. It's market research, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, so like I've done a lot of different levels of design work on that aspect. Back when we got like early 20s, we did some early RPG stuff, like kind of designing our own RPGs, all that sort of thing. But this was the first thing that was kind of like my baby as far as the whole design and concept and having to push everything forward for a go around. Since then, we've got a lot of other games that we're working on. Since Dirty Cops, from the design aspect, is basically done, we've been working on a couple other properties. So we're looking to have two more games on Kickstarter this year.
Very cool. I'm sure when I came back, you guys are asking questions, so somebody else jump in. I'm sure you had something you want to ask the man.
Well, we got one in the chat here. CubeKid wants to know: is there an internal affair agent in the game?
Is there an internal affairs agent? There is a different. So there are some cops that you can actually play as, specific characters that you can play as. There's kind of an FBI type agent. Each of the cops has a different ability that makes them kind of unique, but they're an extra that you can choose to play as, or you can just play as yourself. So that was one thing that I wanted to kind of leave up to players. One of the things that criminals do in the game is that they target specific cops, and they'll target people based on their age. They'll target people based on the amount of resources they have, things like that. So I wanted a way that the oldest player at the table wasn't always the target for the guy that's always going after the oldest cop. So you could, playing these alternate character types, you can actually be the oldest player, but be one of the youngest cops, or maybe be the middle-aged cop.
So what made you decide to create an analog game after being in the video game industry for so long?
So I play a lot of analog games. Big Magic the Gathering fan. I've got a huge board game collection. It's just something else I like to do, playing board games and card games on the side. This game was largely inspired by games like Munchkin and Magic and, a lot of like take that type of stuff. And funny stories. So I had a Christmas break from my regular day job, and when I got back from Christmas break, I really had no Christmas break. My wife was sick, and so I was handling everything going on with the family. It was just super, super crazy. And that first week back, I was just so stressed out. I talked to my boss. I'm like, hey, man, I need to take an actual week away because I'm just going to have a mental breakdown. I'm just like fried. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure, that's fine. And that night, it was a Friday, that night, my brain was like, hey, I don't have to think about work, and it went into a super creative mode, and I actually dreamed the concept, and I woke up the next morning going, that seems like kind of cool. I've seen games where people play as cops, I've seen games where people play as robbers and villains, but I haven't really seen one where you're kind of dancing the line of being both a cop and a villain at the same time. And I went out and got some blank playing cards and just quickly mocked up the thing that was in my head, and the concept was fun. It was super broken, but it was fun. So I just kept pushing forward to work out all the kinks, and I just kept the ball rolling.
So how long were you? I might have said this, but how long have you been developing it then?
I came up with the initial concept in January of 2015, and didn't have any real art. It had, like, the original concept was, I'm just going to do this and it'll be something just, for myself and my friends. But the more I got into it and the more I kept pushing on it, I started thinking, well, maybe this is something I can actually like bring to people if it's something that's really fun and entertaining. And that's when I started looking at this like legitimately, like, okay, let's actually turn this into a real thing. And I went and talked to my artist friend Dominic Sodano, who did all the art for the game. and he was totally in for it and loved the concept. I showed him the cards and kind of like played around, so he was totally on board. So yeah, we've been a little over a year then.
Very cool. I don't know. I mean,
So are you doing this
you
full time?
play.
As in, is this your full time company or?
So I have a regular day job where I still do producer work for digital games. So this is, I guess they decided I didn't have enough I had copious amounts of free time, so I'm gonna load myself up with a second full-time job. I guess I'm kind of 2 kids and 2 dogs, a cat, and a very tolerant wife and a full-time job. Let's add more onto it.
There you go. Just keep adding.
Exactly.
Eventually you'll catch up. That's always my plan. Eventually, is just if you'll break free and it'll be different. But yeah,
that's sort of the goal. Like, because I've worked so long in the video game industry, I've worked with a lot of really talented artists and illustrators and programmers. And one of our goals is that as our company for Thing 12 is we want to get back to work with those people in an analog way, a way where we're not having to do games for someone else. We're not having to be beholden to a certain IP or whatever. Like, just kind of like do our own thing and really open up that creative gate that all these people have.
So, does your team there in the digital realm, do they play a lot of board games, or are they mostly video games?
A little of both. We have some people that are just kind of computer game focused. We have some that are really into board games and really into Magic, and we'll play. Colt Express is one of our current focuses right now. It's a lot of fun. So we kind of run the gamut on, and I think that's good because it lets us see different ideas and different mechanics across different genres. So I think
mechanisms.
That's kind of a healthy thing to keep.
What?
I'm curious. You hear about these video game crossovers like BioShock and the like of that. I'm curious, like, how effective they are with bringing people from the video game end over to analog. It sounds like you don't really have a ton of experience with it, though.
I know that people in general tend to be a little wary whenever you have a licensed IP that is being brought over to the other side. I think just because the IP holders don't always understand the market that they're wanting their license on. So, because I used to do licensed games specifically, and that was always a real challenge with people. Working with all the license holders and things, you get in fights over, like, this was 1 pixel too wide, or just really ridiculous stuff sometimes. And I think that can bog down a game, whether it's in the digital realm or whether it's in the physical realm. And that can actually have a negative impact. So I think there's some warranted wariness on players' sides when they're looking at a licensed game like that.
So I mean, have you worked on any video game stuff that we'd recognize if you said it out loud?
Yes, let's see. Licensed properties. I did Spyro the Eternal Night. That was on the GBA, kind of the last run of the Game Boy Advance games. We did Looney Tunes Cartoon Conductor for the Nintendo DS. That was a ton of fun because I actually got to work with the actual voiceover actors from Warner Brothers. I got to go to the studio and be a part of that whole voiceover process, and they were doing all the old classic Looney Tune character lines that anybody that has ever watched a Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck cartoon, familiar with that stuff. They were doing all that stuff, so they were super excited to be able to do those lines. Let's see, geez, what else? Bejeweled Twist for PopCap on the DS side. We did that. We did some things for the Xbox. I worked on some PC titles and console titles from Microsoft back in the day, Electronic Arts, kind of so I'm in the Seattle area, and there's a lot of different game companies here. So I've kind of bounced around between a number of different companies within that 15 years.
So, I mean, do you think you would you rather work in the board game world if you had the choice between the two? Like, if you had to pick one.
Right. If I had to pick one, actually, I think I would pick board games, just because one of the things that really disappoints me about the video game industry currently is that we've lost that physical communal gaming. Having your buddies over to play Mario Kart and all that trash talking that goes on. I think that's one of the things one of the reasons why we're seeing kind of a board game resurgence now, is that people have a chance to get together physically and trash talk each other and laugh and have fun around a communal space like we used to have back in the earlier console days, and now everything's more online. If you want to do a co-op, well, you have to co-op online or whatever. So I actually prefer doing board game development. There's the kinetic nature of it, and that camaraderie that comes around that I think is a lot more entertaining, a lot more fulfilling.
And what's your favorite board game you're playing? You mentioned Colt Express. Do you play with the expansion?
Actually, I just got the Time Car expansion and the Stagecoach, so we're supposed to be playing that tomorrow, actually. So I'm really anxious to try that out.
All right, and besides Colt Express, what else? I mean, Colt Express is a great game. Don't get me wrong. What else do you guys play? Just give me an idea.
Glance over my shelf here. It's the Camel Cup. We've played a bunch. I got Ashes, but I haven't had a chance to play that yet. Valeria Card Kingdoms. We actually work with the Daily Magic guys, and I love Valeria. It's a great game.
That's Machikoro made right.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more entertaining. Like, there's a lot more going on in that. Smash Up, Flashpoint. I actually picked up a copy of Crossmaster just to try that out, looking at like minis games. We're running a game of Imperial Assault. That's a really interesting minis game, the Star Wars stuff. Splendor, play a lot. I picked up a copy of Titan Race to try. I'm looking at potentially doing some racing type titles, and so I'm looking at racing games. Formula D is another one that I want to try out. So I've been kind of like getting my hands on more and more games and just playing like as much as I can.
Well, I obviously, like, you guys have a couple weeks left. I mean, that's plenty of time to get your funding. And so I think if you are you going to be anywhere like demoing the game anytime, if somebody like was near you, or if somebody want to try out the game and like test it for themselves, how could they go about that process?
We're actually going to be at Emerald City Comic Con doing demos in the final week of the Kickstarter run. So if they're interested in trying out the game, then they can just hit up Emerald City Comic Con. Also, if there's people that are interested in checking it out and they happen to be in the Seattle area, they can go on to
come to your house.
Well, my dog.
He lives at 742 Emerald.
So you could go to our Facebook page and drop us a line there, or contact us dirtycopsgame@gmail.com. There's a lot of places that we can play games at that we go to, Mox Boarding House and Card Kingdom and a bunch of other places. I would be more than happy to demo the game for people in an area like that. That'd be cool.
Cool. And one last thing, you're welcome to hang out and talk and whatever, but I mean, just as we talk about other things this evening, I just wanted to say that I think The Crow was a horrible movie.
Here we go.
Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, how embarrassing.
It was sort of my wife's and I's movie. Like, that's one of the movies that we kind of met around. So it wasn't as good as a comic, and it was a lot better than Crow 2. So I don't have any Crow 2 stuff around. So
as much as I dislike the Crow, I even more so hate little tiny ducks that are dressed in sailor outfits with red bow ties on them. So that's probably something I detest even more than the Crow somehow. Oh, Eric! I didn't. Oh my!
You need better glasses, Lance.
Here, I'll put this up for you.
A turd with a face.
It's the poo emoji pillow.
Somebody in the comments want to know what your gateway game was.
My gateway game was what got me into board gaming.
Yeah.
Parcheesi.
Actually, Magic the Gathering is what.
That's
really,
not a board game. To get guessing.
There we go. I did all everybody's played, all the stupid things that everybody hates now, like Monopoly and all that crap. But Magic the Gathering was one that I had avoided for some reason, and the studio that I was working at the time, the studio head decided that he was going to put up a big Magic the Gathering tournament for everybody there, and he bought all the packs for everybody.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, well, there's zero cost to me to try this out. So it was during the Alara run, so I learned how to play Magic having to build 3 and 4 color decks, which was like trial by fire. But yeah, I really got hooked on that, and I've got a million friggin' Magic cards. So yeah, that's kind of what led me down this path.
I think you'll enjoy Ashes, then. It's similar.
Yeah, I like the art. Like they seem to do some things that were a little bit different. That I was really kind of interested to try out and see how that goes. Yeah.
Understandable. Gosh, I'm trying to think.
It's always dangerous.
You shut your mouth.
Sorry. Has
Yeah,
anybody pre-ordered anything from Flat Hat recently? I just
not recently, no.
I just did for this Dead of Winter thing, but the shipping's over $20.
It's coming from Canada now.
Is it?
Yeesh.
It's unreal.
Yep, it's coming from Canada, not from Texas. So,
I mean, I pre-ordered 51st State from Poland. It was cheaper than that. Yeah.
I think I saw. Didn't Amazon have a sale for Dead of Winter for like $40 or something like that?
Oh, it could be. I don't know. That's Lance's favorite game, so anytime
What
I want
is?
to talk about that. Dead of Winter.
Oh, Dead of Winter? Yeah, well, no, a lot of people really enjoy it, and good for them.
the only thing that Lance would like more about is if Reiner Knizia
Had co-designed it?
team. Yes.
Yeah, that would have been excellent if he had co-designed that, yeah.
So, Lance, did you hear that Privateer Press has joined on the Asmodee bandwagon?
Oh,
Well,
Did they?
they're going to also do the whole...
Yeah, well, I'll just read you the title of this article. Privateer acts as offending online retailers. We do not condone the free-riding parasitic business model.
Wow.
Where was this located on?
It's on the ICV2 site. So it says, Privateer Press, makers of War Machine and Hordes, has announced a new sales policy which it hopes will end deeply discounted online sales. In their letter sent out to retailers, Privateer Press President Sherry Geary explained the rationale. Over the last 11 years, online retailers with nearly no overhead and very little meaningful contact with their audience have been undermining the stability of the market by selling products at discounts well below retail value, depending solely on the efforts of our brick-and-mortar partners who offer services that nurture our audience and grow the market to move their products. She wrote, this model of business is widely recognized by experts and the justice system as free riding. While this can be a viable business model for many mainstream products, it is common knowledge that in our industry it's crippling and anti-competitive. And then it goes on and on from there, but so.
Well, you know who won't have to worry about like the cost of games and shipping them and everything like that?
Joe Wiggins?
No, the designer of Antichrist.
Oh. That's a
I
whole
just-
other story.
Well, I just figured I'd give you. I know that you wanted to discuss that, and you had your opinions about it, and I wanted to give you a forum.
What is Antichrist?
All right, so Antichrist.
Oh,
is,
wait a minute! I need a bowl of popcorn. All right, everybody be quiet and let Anthony tell the story.
All right, so Antichrist is a really bad poker variant card game that was designed by a gentleman named Daniel Zayas.
Hey, Bill.
If you don't know the name, Daniel runs a site called Smarter Backer or something like that. It used to be called the something Badger.
Anthony, can I call timeout really quick?
I'll
Just
call
one thing.
timeout.
Just hold on a second here. Bill, are you wearing your wrestling tank top there?
I am not, sir. I'm just wearing a tank top because my apartment is unseasonably warm. Sorry.
I thought you were like going to take down the straps and give me a pile driver or something.
I do not have my singlet on. Don't make me bust it up. How's it going?
It's going well, Bill. Sorry, we're going to let Anthony discuss the rise and fall. Was that? You just give me the finger?
No, this one. The good one.
Just like,
Just that one. Only this one, I
I
promise.
thought you were flicking me off. I was
Oh,
like,
I'll give
holy
you that
crap.
one later, I'm sure.
No, I was gonna. No, you look like an extra from Over the Top right now. It's like a truck driver.
Well, I am Earl. I mean, I've been told that I am Earl, the friendly trucker with a heart of gold, according
great.
to certain Twitter personalities that have photoshopped me numerous times. So we'll go with that.
All right, very good. Well, this the Budweiser cap and the beard and the tank top. But anyway, so the rise and fall of the great Kickstarter Antichrist. Sorry, Anthony, I apologize. Please, I will shut up now.
That's okay. So the designer of this game has this website, and on the website he rates other Kickstarter projects and uses his vast research and knowledge on Kickstarter to tell you why a Kickstarter campaign is a good Kickstarter campaign and why it is not a good Kickstarter campaign. It gives you advice on why it's not a good Kickstarter campaign, because you launched on this day, or you didn't have a video, or you did this, you did that, and he has this rubric that he does, and some people think it's the cat's pajamas, but at one point his rubric score for one particular project was higher than the max score that his rubric goes up to, which therefore means that it doesn't actually follow the rubric. So anyway, so he took this game that he designed, which is basically it's a poker variant, and I'll teach you how to play in case you want to play with a regular deck of cards, and decided to put this theme of it about you're trying to summon demons and get the Antichrist to wake up, and whatever. The theme itself does not bother me. But he thought it would be a brilliant idea to launch it on Easter Sunday. And he sent me a press release, and I said, are you actually going to launch this game on the holiest Christian holiday of the year? And he gave me some rigmarole, and I said, well, I'm telling you right now, it's going to make you look like a jerk. And it launched. He got about 10% of the funding on day one. People commented. People said things. Day two, he got $6 in funding. And just so they can get his funding goal to $666 at that point. And then he canceled the whole thing because he knew it was going to fail. This baffles me, this whole thing, because I've had several run-ins with this individual in the past.
You're not the only one there.
And I, he's been trying to put out the olive branch, and I haven't been bragging on the guy or anything. But he sent me the thing, and I didn't tweet anything about this thing until it was over. But he did it, and I said, are you really doing this? You really think this is a good idea? And he was adamant that he knew better than everybody, and this was going to be fantastic. And he was counting on people who are, everyone's an atheist now in the world. and they were all going to jump on it because it was edgy and gritty, and they were going to jump on it because of the theme. Because let's go against the people who believe in God, and yeah, let's get them. And you know what? Maybe that would have worked if you designed a game that wasn't a pile of crap.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you want to know how to play the game, I'll teach you how to play the game. Get a regular deck of playing cards, 52 playing cards, and this is a poker game. Everybody gets dealt 4 cards, and then you take 4 cards off the top of the deck, and you put them face out, and that's like where you can acquire more cards for your hand. Then you just take a card from your hand. Everyone takes a card at the same time, and you decide which one to play. You all flip them over. Now, whoever has the lowest number gets to go first. And what you do is you take your card, you put it into the center, and then you can take every card that's in the row there, besides the one you just played, that's either the same number or the same suit, into your hand. And this will go on. Each person will get to pick up the cards, whatever they can pick up at that time. So you go through the entire deck of cards. At that point, you play your 5 best card poker hand, and that's the game. Is the excitement level out there with everybody?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've heard of this game for all of a minute. I think mechanically it sounds like it could be interesting-ish, but I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But it doesn't do anything with the theme. I mean, the theme is ridiculous.
Right. But here's the thing, Bill. Let's say you happen to get dealt 4 really good cards at the beginning of the game. You get dealt 2 kings, a queen, and a jack. Which means every card you play down to the table is going to be the last pick, more than likely. And if there's nothing for you to pick up, because there's no more of the suit you're playing and there's no more of that number, you're screwed.
Just losing a card. Yep. Yeah, no, I definitely see where it could have flaws. Like I said, for over the course of 1 minute, it sounds interesting, but over 10, when you're actually playing the cards, maybe not.
1 minute. All right. I played this game for a minute, and now I'm done.
Exactly.
Different poker variant. You're like, oh, okay, this could be cool. Until you realize that if you're the guy who gets dealt a really good hand up front, you're screwed for the entire game.
Yeah. I hear that.
That's an ironic twist on game development, though, that the best hand is screwed and the worst hand would be the best.
Well, because the idea is that the 4 cards that come up, say, a king comes out up there, and it's a king of spades. If I play my 2 of spades, I'll get to go first, and I'll get to take that into my hand. So you're recycling and getting cards into your hand by playing cards out of your hand. So it benefits you having the lower numbers because you get to go first each time. And I guess at some point, during the certain number of hands, you'll get to the point where you've already used up all your low cards, and that other person may get a chance to get something, but you're behind the game to begin with. And then it's just the same thing each round. 4 more cards. 4 more cards, 4 more cards, and then we just figure it out. At that point, you can just deal, the entire deck out to everyone who's playing and say, pick 5 cards and let's see who got the best poker hand.
Well, yeah, and that's, I mean, there would be novelty right away. Oh, okay, but the theme could have been, as we've said, anything. Like you could have made the game, and it didn't have to be. Yeah, he was going edgy or whatever. And edgy's sold before. I mean, it's just. I mean, I personally, I found like the whole idea of the theme kind of. I mean, I can play any theme, but just why do it on that day? It was just the double down on the trying to be that guy.
Right, and I think it's not even just the theme. Literally, these. I'll give you an example of how you just do this to just be offensive, okay? The campaign launched, and he posted all over the place, he is risen. And then, wait, so he, after day 1, he posted an update, and this is what the update says, because you'll like this. I want to be transparent with the process, so here's what we are up against. And then he made a picture that says haters in big white letters. And under that it says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, Luke 23:34. So, because the fact people are offended with the fact that he put it up there, they're haters, not the fact that you're being offensive. Now, there are people who find this offensive who aren't even Christian, because it's one of those things that, you know what, I may not believe, but I respect the fact that you believe.
There's a difference between being edgy and sticking your middle finger up at people and trying to antagonize them.
Right.
I don't think this guy understands the difference.
No, but he's an expert on Kickstarter.
Well, everybody's an expert on Kickstarter.
No. He is an expert. Yeah.
He did post that he.
Wait. He even knows. Wait. I'll read it. I'll read it, Lance. Hold on. He says the theme is unique and offensive to a vocal few, but that is what is so great about this game. Antichrist isn't like anything else theme-wise in your collection. I am sure satanic-themed games exist in the world, but not like this on the Kickstarter platform. I would know. I have studied every Kickstarter campaign for 2+ years.
Yeah, he's every tabletop game Kickstarter. Whatever. Okay.
He's got a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, well, I think he does. All right, well, I want to interrupt everything because actually Juliana has joined us.
Hello.
You got your kids to bed, I take it.
I
There we
did.
go.
Well, in theory. One's in bed. He's not quite asleep. We'll see how it goes.
And I apologize, Ariel, as well. I should have said that. So these are the co-designers of Escape Room in a Box.
Oh.
A Kickstarter that did...
Daniel Zayas researched this too.
We did not make the top 10, I will say, on Smarter Backer when we launched. I was like, we didn't even make the top 10 standings in his weekly
You should have made like Escape from a Satanic Ritual, and you would have been like number
Clearly, that would have been the thing to do.
Yeah.
Escape the Antichrist.
Some Good Friday.
But
Next
no,
Ariel.
Oh, is that Thomas?
My son's asking who I'm on the phone with.
very nice. But no, you guys did quite well. You raised over $100,000.
Well, it's because we're Kickstarter experts.
Yeah, we've been studying the format for over 2 years.
For Daniel. You know what? Okay, I'm just gonna say this, and I know Anthony's gonna call me out for being Minnesota nice, but I'm sure Daniel's a good guy. He's just, whatever. He makes.
Well played, Anthony.
He's still going.
He doesn't. He is lame. He doesn't know.
Oh,
He's still going.
I feel like there's an etiquette thing I'm missing here.
Oh, I think he figured it out.
You guys are jerks.
All right, let the ladies talk about their
No,
game.
well, no. So
Don't
they
make me
were
mute
kind
you again.
enough- Shut up. They were kind enough to send me a prototype of it that I played it with my family, and we loved it. However, when I did my video, my daughter gave away too many secrets. She was trying to talk soft, but she's 8, and she was really excited about it. But
It was an adorable video. We really enjoyed it.
she loved it. I mean, absolutely, adored it. And I think my wife went and backed it immediately afterwards so she could play with her friends.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, no. So no, it was totally amazing, totally cool. But just go. You talk about it for a little bit, and I've got dozens of questions that I have for you. So, but yeah, tell us a little bit about the creation and how you came up with the idea and whatever.
Ariel, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, we're both moms and we love escape rooms, but it can be really hard to get out and get a babysitter, and the escape rooms are already expensive, and then getting a babysitter is much more expensive. And Juliana hosts this amazing game night. And so we had this thought that it would be so cool to get to do an escape room at the game night, and so we looked to try to buy one. And there wasn't one, so we made one.
Yeah.
If somebody breaks into your house, are you going to take that Warhammer off the bookshelf and brain somebody with it?
This one, I mean, the mace might be better. Oh, I can't even lift it. I think, no, my husband would have
So that's not going to work.
My husband's a blacksmith. This is like my entire house.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
It's amazing. All right, but
he's really proud of this one. It's like has like you can go at it from either end.
that's totally cool. No, that's like a true Warhammer. I mean, like
Yeah.
most people like they think Warhammer, they think like Thor's giant mallet or whatever, but that's actually like Warhammers were made.
Do you know that Ariel has a Viking death ship in her backyard? Did I tell you that?
No, but
Yeah.
now I want to move next door to her.
It's kind of like Mad Maxy, kind of.
I'm not picky.
It's on wheels and it can drive around. It has a big dragon head that breathes fire, or will breathe fire eventually. I don't know.
Wayne's found a new best friend.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Is that on eBay? I have a $10 coupon that I have to use by midnight. So
no, I think we call them the Vikings would be very upset if we tried to sell it. It probably will eventually become a clubhouse for my son, but.
So does your husband have a forge in the garage, or does he do this somewhere else?
Yeah, he has a full shop. It actually started when we were in like a one-bedroom apartment, so the forge can be moved around. He told our landlord that it was a turkey fryer.
There's all thousands of degrees of heat. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to be right back.
That's okay. We can just ask questions to the other person. So, so you came up with the idea of the escape room in the box. Whose idea was it to make it about a werewolf, or like a werewolf? I
mean, that was a total no-brainer. We're both completely obsessed with werewolves. I host like massive werewolf nights every few months where we just get we've had 40, 50 people all playing werewolf together. So since it's like one of our absolute favorite games of all times, we just figured it would be a nice tip of the hat to that.
Very
I was
cool.
just going to show you guys. My husband actually makes Thor hammers too. This is a rattle. This is what we get for friends, like when they have kids.
That's good though. Just start them off early and get them going in the right direction. Yes, it is important.
Yeah, you don't want to give the full war hammer to like a baby, so a mallet is better.
Well, they gotta start somewhere.
Wise.
All right, so you went with the whole idea is that I don't want to say anything because I'm going to let you guys talk about the game. But the thing I had with it is like obviously now you guys are in production and going through that whole process without talking distinctly about anything and saying anything. How I can't imagine the whole. Everything that's in there, since I know what's in there, and I can't. This is horrible radio because I can't discuss it. But, how are you, as far as production goes? I mean, how are you going to make sure the quality control? I mean, not that I don't think you can do it. I'm just intrigued by the idea of
that's a very good question. It's one that we're working on. We are, that's. I don't know, Juliana. How should we answer that without giving anything away?
I mean, I think I would just say that, obviously this game and the way it is, more than I think any other game that's out there, it has to be perfect. So the quality control is for sure going to be really high. We're going to have, people on the ground in China actually in the factories making sure that everything is as it needs to be.
See, that's a question I actually had you answer to, because I was wondering if you were gonna. I had this image of the two of you in your garage, each manually putting together each box, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine the. But oh man, I can't imagine now the stress of wondering and hoping and praying that they don't. That everything works, that everything is good to go.
Yeah, I mean, we're working with some really good people who are good at this. We got them through with
some really great connections.
Yeah, really great connections, and it was important for us to not do the normal route of just having a company make it. Like, we need to have people there checking the boxes and, you know, really making sure that everything's perfect.
We can't just do this over Skype. So, it's definitely not the typical board game route. And that is one of the reasons, like, we gave ourselves a year, and a lot of people were so upset, like, oh, why do I have to wait a whole year for this? Like, this is such a long time for a Kickstarter game. But there's many reasons, as you know, that this is not a typical Kickstarter game. It's not going to be a typical production schedule. So we wanted to make sure we gave ourselves plenty of time to make sure it came out perfect.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine, you know, speaking very vaguely, like getting to a point, like with a puzzle, and like, oh, okay, so we have to do X, and then you get the correct answer to X, and then when you go to do it, it's like, oh,
it's not
but
there.
Yeah, it's just like, so I have X.
Like you have a whole
working.
party that you've put together for all your friends, and this is like your big one-night event to host it. So no, that's one of the main reasons that we gave ourselves such a long time. Is to
and it's
make
also,
sure.
I mean, it's also a reason that I think, you know, that our price point is a little higher, because we're obviously having to pay more to make sure, you know, to have it be better and to have people there and to have things checked on.
All right, that's awesome. And you are gonna have, like, I mean, I know a lot of people like are saying things along the lines of, it's like, oh, well, you know, it's like you can only play it once and everything. I know you guys have talked about the reload, like as far as being able to reset it, and obviously, like, the same people couldn't do it again, you know, because then they, you know, it wouldn't really work because you know, like the answers, but.
I'm really excited about the refill pack. I mean, I don't know if you guys play D&D, but I don't know.
Nerds play D&D. What are you talking about?
Okay, so in my mind, or the way I liken it to, is when you get the refill pack, you become the DM. So you can, so you are leading your friends through the game, and there are elements that come out of the game that you become in control of, and you get a script that can suggest things that you can do during the game, and it'll have, like, this is a hint you could give your friends, or you could just throw that object at their heads. Yeah. And it'll be,
you decide what sort of DM you want to be.
And I think people will have a lot of fun with that. And I have to say, having watched approximately 1 billion playtests, it's a really fun game to watch your friends do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just, there's so many, like, weird signature moments. I remember when, like I was playing with my wife and my daughter. It was just like those weird moments where, like, you know, the light bulb goes off in your head, and you snatch the thing out of the person's hand, and no, we're doing it wrong, and then you have the answer, and it's just. Oh man, I mean, it's just it's so frustrating to talk about it, because I want to say so much about it, but I mean, I can't.
I think one thing you can say is that there's a lot of surprises. One thing that we love is that it surprises people in a way that games don't normally surprise you, and we love that.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, it's truly, you know, I mean, well, it's exactly that. I mean, it's really impressive, and I'm not trying to, like, kiss any tushes here, but I mean, it's like you've taken that like that single slice, that escape room, like, feel. I mean, especially if everybody's, like, watching the clock and they're realizing they're getting closer to the running out of time and things like that. That sense of urgency that you feel as you're playing. I mean, it's there, and it's cool that I mean. And
that'll actually be there even more for the people, for our Kickstarter backers, than it was for you, because we unlock the stretch goal. We're gonna have a soundtrack that's counting down. You're gonna have the music with the tempo building, and it's gonna get more and more anxious, and it's gonna say, you know, 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left. So it'll be even more, like, stressful as it counts down.
Yeah, we just got the sample track, and it's really cool.
That was actually one of the things that I was going to ask about. I'm way behind on the curve here, and so I don't know a ton about this, but I love the idea of a soundtrack. That's something that really speaks to me. I like to include sound as an ambient thing in any game, really, because I think it generally adds to it. I'm a mobile DJ, so that's sort of my thing. Like, that's kind of my job, so I like to bring it in.
When he isn't driving truck.
Yes, when I am not driving truck, or apparently competing for the world title. Whichever one. But yeah, no, I love that idea. I think that's really cool.
I realize, yeah, for people who don't know about the Kickstarter and about the game, we should probably give just a brief explanation of what it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
I quickly looked everything up while you guys were talking, so.
So you're totally caught up. Yeah, so it's essentially an escape room that's in a box. So you have 1 hour to solve 19 puzzles and unlock 3 actual locks in order to save your life. And the story is that Dr. Cynthia Naw, who's a mad scientist, was trying to create a superhuman, and instead she turned herself into a werewolf. But she's crazy smart. She made herself an antidote, but decided it would be awesome to have a werewolf army. So she packed it up in the box, sent it out to the world, and filled it with ingenious puzzles. And now you and your friends have opened the box, and you've unleashed a poisonous vapor that's going to turn you all into werewolves.
Geez, spoiler alert!
If you don't solve all the puzzles within an hour. And there's a huge diversity, all different kinds of puzzles. There's some puzzles that are super challenging for adults, and then there's other puzzles that children excel at. I love, Lance, that you said your daughter, handled some parts of it really, really well and really fast.
Yeah, there is. I mean, and I'm going to say this right now. There was a part where, literally, I had no idea what to do, and my daughter took it out of my hand and said, "It's like this," and she had it solved in 2 minutes. And if she hadn't been there, I would have had no clue, none whatsoever.
And we actually, on that, without getting into too many specifics, the guys over at Rolling Dice and Take Names, they did have just a group of 40 and 50-year-old dudes handling that puzzle, and they said it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and it was cool because my little girl. I mean, she had her moment to shine, and she all the adults were being all thinky, and then she was able to slap her hands away and take it over. And I think that's one of the things too is I without really, it's if you're thinking this is all going to be logic puzzles where you're just kind of trying to deduce codes or whatever, just anything like that. It's both that and it's physical manipulation, and it's it's thematic, and it's you got to think outside the box, and you got to, as you said, there's surprises, and there's something that I don't want to say anything stupid, so just it's you are going to be, for lack of a better term, you're going to be stunned at at how the answers reveal themselves to you, that kind of thing.
I love that you mentioned logic puzzles because both Ariel and I love logic puzzles, and there originally was a logic puzzle in there, and all of our playtesters hated it. It was they'd been given the plague when they pulled out the logic puzzle. So we had to lose it, even though we were very sad about it because we loved it.
We actually did a few revisions on it first. We were
we tried. I wrote out instructions that literally walked you through. If you followed the instructions, it would literally tell you exactly how to solve that specific logic puzzle. Still nothing doing.
That's awesome. So I mean, and obviously this is your guys' first a Kickstarter, first board game in a box type of thing. And you say you play Werewolf and stuff all the time. What else do you play? I mean, as far as games go.
I mean, I just played Innovation last night. Have you guys played that? Juliana, I haven't even told you about it yet.
No.
Carl Chudik?
You were playing games without me?
I'm sorry. No, but this one was specifically for my husband because it's a card game, and it takes you through all the different levels of civilization, which is something Mike's really interested in, as you can tell from the weapons. So Mike's dream is to go out in the woods and start with nothing and then get up to this, the Steam Age or something. So just starting with fire and stuff, and then he would get metal, and I don't know. He has the whole explanation, but so it's a card game where each level is a different age and time, and you work through it. And it's a little bit, I guess it's a little bit like a more complicated Flux, maybe, is one way, because as you put down cards, the rules change. But there's a lot of reading. And I thought about that, Jules, because something we learned was people hate reading.
And people just don't read.
I like Innovation because... Go ahead.
Last night we were learning it. I need to play it more.
Well, the one thing about that Innovation that I liked about it was as you're because the mechanism is that you're putting cards underneath cards and kind of building out your tableau and revealing certain symbols and things like that. But everybody works really hard at making their little engine, being able to work on that cards. But that doesn't matter how good that is. It's the cards in the middle that you have to make sure that you claim that'll actually determine whether or not you win. Which is something I thought was.
Wait, what do you mean by cards in the middle? Because so I think we got some new version where the sorry, this is gonna be very boring for everyone else.
No, this is great.
Booklet, the instruction booklet didn't have page numbers, and we couldn't figure out the rules for splaying. And we turned to that, and the definition of splaying says there's a whole page on this. Go to page 12. And there wasn't a page 12. There wasn't page numbers. I counted to what should have been page 12, and it was something totally different.
Was it made in China?
I had a new version, and they took out that page.
Wait, I know the answer. There's a puzzle you have to figure out. Unlock page 12.
If there'd been a puzzle, I would have figured it out. So I don't understand. So, explain the cards in the middle, because finally we went online and figured out that you can only splay if, the card says you can splay. And I guess none of those cards came up at first, which is why we didn't realize it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know. I know. Yeah, go ahead. Explain.
Okay.
The whole idea of splaying is that way you can fan the cards out either left, or I think it's up, right, or left, correct? Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's right. And as soon as a card gives you the ability to splay, that means cards that you've already claimed that you might have in a stack, you can spread out to show multiple icons on one stack.
But
right?
but then you only get the icons from the cards that are underneath.
Correct.
Right? You can't do anything else with them.
Right. The only text ability that you'll ever get is the one that's on top of the stack.
Okay.
Everything else below there, you will be splaying in order to show more icons in that stack to make the actions more powerful.
Okay, that's where we ended up. But then Lance was saying something about middle cards. What's that?
He's talking about the stacks that you're claiming cards from.
Oh, okay.
Stacks 1 through 10 that are usually in the middle of the table, right? I'm sorry, not to speak on your behalf.
No, you're
That's
right.
what you mean, right? Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah. And as far as your confusion on the rule book, welcome to the board gaming hobby, where most rule books suck large. So there you go.
I have some rants, I will say, on various rule books, but this one was really bad because it said go to page 12 and there weren't page numbers.
Yeah.
And that was very difficult for me.
Yeah, I feel your pain. That is that. But every game designer I've ever talked to has said that the part that they hate most is writing the rule book before it goes into the box. That's the worst part. Prototyping can be slightly a pain. Designing is frustrating. Sometimes playtesting can be worse. But writing that rule book is the the bamboo under the fingernails moment for most game designers that I've ever met.
We have so Lance can tell you our rules are 7x7.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of this game. It's it's on you. Figure it out.
Don't set it on fire. Don't use a hammer. And maybe don't feed it to your dog. Other than that,
don't
give her
eat
hell.
it yourself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's. I think that you've just unlocked the secret to game design for the rest of us. Is try to make stuff where you don't have to teach anybody. You can just hand them a box and let them go nuts for an hour. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and not to get. I mean, the escape room and box thing, which you can. And this is horrible, like plugging, but you can go and pre-order right now.
Yeah.
EscapeRoomInABox.com.
Yeah, or just go to the Kickstarter page and there's a link right there.
And then you can see all the info and stuff.
Yes, you can. No, the cool thing is literally you and unless you've changed the design, but I can only assume that you're not. You cut the seal on the box or you break the shrink or whatever. And don't open it. Don't do anything with it. Don't leave it in the shrink until you get everybody in the room, and you say, okay, we're gonna do this, and you're gonna open it up, and you begin. You know, it mirrors that, and then, unless you're changing it. I mean, that was my experience.
No, that's what it's gonna be.
Because we want to mirror the real escape room experience, which is, there's very few rules, and they're very simple. And, you get them kind of when you walk in the lobby.
Right.
And that's been one thing, actually, trying to figure out how to get people to stop. Because as soon as people get a game box, they open it up and they want to, flip through and see everything that's in there. And so trying to find a way to have people, stop. I know you're used to opening your games immediately and looking at them, but you have to stop. We've tried writing it in all caps at the top. People still didn't listen. Just trying to get it to a place where people would not proceed until it was time.
This actually brings up an interesting question that was asked in the chat on the YouTube thing by Kabuki Kid, and I'm sorry, Kabuki Kid, I don't know what your actual name is, so I'm just going to go with that.
Oh, he's just Kabuki Kid. We don't call him anything else.
All right, very good. He asked if you had played the game Time Stories and were you fans of it, and he's bringing that up because of, I'm sure, the whole once through aspect of both games. So, yeah, did you play Time Stories?
I played Time Stories.
Yes.
I
you
have
like
a
it?
rant on their rule book.
Oh, such a rant.
That's actually one of the books.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the rule books that I was thinking of when I was jumping in with you guys.
So
on how
here's the
bad
thing
they
about
are.
that rule book. It's like it takes you an hour to read through it, and then at the very end, it tells you, it gives you a cheat. Like if you just want to start now, put that page in the beginning, please.
Yes, absolutely.
That was my rant.
And it was that thing where we were like, we're having an event. It's a one-time game. We're going to have this big, exciting game night. We got, like, fedoras and tried to be in character. And then we had to, like, sit there and read a rule book for an hour. Like, we really just wanted to dive in. So with our game, you can.
Cool.
So I was going to ask this. So this is, like you say, this is a one and done type thing. You're going to have reloads that you can use to like set it up again, which is really cool, which I think is awesome. But do you have other ideas for like down the line? I mean, you probably want to make sure you do the best possible job you can with this one right here, right now. But you must have other ideas for the next escape room in a box as well, correct?
So many ideas and so many puzzles that we could not fit into this one. There are so many puzzles that we still have in our brains that we want to work into future boxes. So for sure, we definitely want to.
I mean, I think something we're doing is we want to build like a universe for these games. So Doc Na is going to have some evil people in her sphere, and they will have their own boxes, and then they're all going to come together Avengers style. And our we had a really amazing play test with a group of magicians who were just like, it was the best play test. It was so cool. And they afterwards could not help themselves and just like started telling us all these ideas for puzzles. And so I think our next box is going to be called the Magician's Spell Book. And we're going to use some of those ideas. And we also really wanted to do something in the fantasy world. We want each box to be a different genre. So you know, because, you know, some people love werewolves, some people love Harry Potter, you know, etc.
We actually got one reviewer who was like, "This game sounds awesome, but I hate werewolves. Let me know about the next one."
I think it's really interesting that first off, the theme would be such a point for anybody. Like to me, I kind of see beyond the theme and be like, okay, this is awesome, right? I get this amazing experience that I can share with a big group for an hour. I think that would be great. I could care less what the theme is about on the outside. I just want to get into it on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, we were also surprised by that result.
I don't know what personal experience he's had. Yeah,
it's probably a gamer that got stuck in a 6-hour game of werewolf at one of his local conventions and halfway fell asleep while he was trying to figure out how to get out of it. I agree. I run werewolf at conventions every year, so I'm on your team on this one. But
if you ever play with Juliana, she's always the werewolf. Always.
False.
100% of the time.
If I go to a convention, it's going to be all new people who I can fool. Don't give me away.
No. Now I know.
It's random, but she's always the werewolf.
And we can tell our tens of fans about
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, 11 tonight.
Oh, we're doing well. We're doing well. So I wanted to ask you guys one other thing. Do you think? So in the last 12 months, we've gotten Time Stories, we've gotten Pandemic Legacy, we've gotten these quote unquote one-shot board game experiences that have been coming out. Now, Pandemic Legacy, you play somewhere between 12 and 24 games of it, each game lasting close to an hour, so you get more time. Time Stories, you play 4 to 6 hours before you have to reinvest. Your game, you play for an hour before you either have to get a refill pack or you know, pass it along or whatever. Do you think that this would have flown well 2 or 3 years ago before these other games came along that sort of have primed the market? Do you feel like, or is the market sort of adapting to this idea of a one-shot game? Because I personally love it. For the record, there is no bias against it on my part. I enjoyed both of the other two games, so I'm on board.
I would say is, while consumable games like Pandemic Legacy and Time Stories are certainly have certainly influenced, I think, the space for our game. I think the biggest reason our game wouldn't have flown 2 or 3 years ago is because escape rooms weren't very big 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, we just read a statistic that escape rooms between 2014 and 2015 grew 3,900%. Like, it's insane.
And I guess I totally agree with you. I think that's probably the biggest part of it. In my head, escape room in a box is more for the board game audience than it is for an escape room audience. And I guess the reason I think that is because I haven't played it. I'm not one of the people that you have to worry about spoiling things, but I don't get the impression that it's hiding things around your house, right? Like you literally, if you're the buyer, you open it and you are playing it along with everybody else. So there is no creating the room space, which would make me feel like a slightly different, like more of a board game experience and less of a room experience. Does that make sense, or am I saying it?
Absolutely makes sense. Several things. One, everything is contained in the box. You don't have to set anything up in advance. But we do have a party planner that goes along with it. So if you want to kind of create the theme and create the mood with drinks and food and everything and decorations, you can create that in your home. But beyond that, we've tried really, really hard to make this, even though it's all in a box, still feel like an escape room. And we've been so thrilled that, like, Room Escape Artist, who's one of the biggest room escape bloggers out there, they reviewed it and they said it's better than half of the actual rooms that they've done. There's nothing hidden in your house, but there's certainly things hidden in the box.
Okay.
And I think, honestly, as to your question as to, like, if it's board gamers or escape room people, I think the beauty and one of the reasons that our Kickstarter took off is that there's a huge amount of overlap between those two audiences. Yes. And I think, we've had people who are huge escape room enthusiasts play it, and we've had people who are hardcore board gamers play it, and they've all enjoyed it, which has been so cool to see.
Yeah. That's awesome. So it's sort of bridging the gap between the two, or at least it at least triggers the interests of both demographics. I think that's really cool.
My husband's coming. He's wondering what's going on.
Hi.
How you doing?
They were admiring your Warhammer.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Like nice work, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also have a Viking ship that our esteemed leader wants, right? You said you have a ship in your backyard. Was that you?
Yeah, we have.
Where'd esteemed leader go?
I don't know. Lance fell off a while ago, which is why I'm talking so much.
Difficulties.
The Alaboom isn't the same without somebody that isn't talking nonstop through the entire background of it. So there you go. No, but you do fine work, sir. If Lance shows up as your next door neighbor, we're really sorry. But very good. Very good.
Get back to work and stuff. All right, love you.
Aww.
So I have a question for you guys from a designer standpoint. So you did a lot of playtests. Did you use the same people a lot of times doing playtests, and did you have any issues or?